The Energy Regulatory Commission is the regulator that is mandated to set and review electricity prices. We've currently received an application from Kenya Power to review their retail tariffs, what Kenyans will be paying, what consumers will be paying. We, as I mentioned, we are having a framework. We have identified what we think are the areas that make power very expensive in Kenya. And one of the areas that we identified is what we lose, what we call system losses. System losses arise from the movement of power from one point to the other. There are also losses, what I can call power theft, where in collusion with some of employees who are not good, and also some Kenyans who are using the power, they sort of bypass the meters and steal the power. So we are working, we have about 6.1%. That is what we call non-technical losses. So again, the regulator is working on a very innovative framework to ensure that that practice of theft of power is actually stopped. So if we look at what is the value of these 6.1% losses, is actually billions of shillings. So we want to ensure that that benefit, those billions, are saved and they are given back to consumers in form of reduced tariff. As also mentioned, we are working on a tariff category that will be promoting consumers, it will be promoting the industrial consumers. So this tariff category will be based on where we have cheap generation. So again, when we publish our tariffs, we'll be having a category for newly gazetted industrial zones that will be very competitive to attract investment in those areas. So in overall, we expect a reduction in consumer prices. We also expect a significant reduction in commercial industrial category of users. And quickly, we have also implemented the time of use tariffs where the manufacturers enjoy a discount, a big discount from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And again, these have been implemented the last 2 months, and we are getting good reports that consumers are seeing a reduction in their bills.
How the reduction, it will go down how many percent after a year's time?
We're still working on the numbers, but we expect a significant reduction in what we're going to pass as approved tariffs.
You say there's 6.1% non-technical losses and another percent?
We have currently our system losses stand at about 18.9%. We want to ensure that out of that 18.9% loss, which most of the losses are technical losses, we want to reduce that. We want to eliminate the aspect of non-technical losses, which is 6.1%. So in essence, we want to ensure that when we move the power from the generators to the consumers, we lose about 13%, not anymore.
And you also talked about buying system errors, that no one will be disconnected with power due to errors.
We have those consumers who are prepaid consumers who had errors. The period of transitioning from the old billing system to the new billing system resulted in about a number of customers who were affected, and these customers are not the industrial category. They are not those on tokens. These are those customers who are in the old type of meters. So again, Kenya Power, we have given them a directive that anyone who has a complaint on tariff, that the bills were inflated due to that transition from the old system to the new system, we have requested that consumers go to Kenya Power and have their bills amended. And as a result, if you have a contentious bill, you should not be disconnected from the power system until that dispute of the bill is resolved. So we're asking Kenyans to make sure they visit Kenya Power offices and have an amended bill on any erroneous bill.
Do you have the number of people who are affected?
The number of we have about 6.5 million consumers currently. We had about 900,000 affected. But as I said, they are being addressed. Most of them, the issues have been resolved as of now.
And the issue of gas exchange of gas in the LPG dealers?
LPG, as I mentioned, is one of the clean energy sources for cooking in our houses, and the government is promoting the easy access of those cylinders. The government is putting to the market about 1.2 million cylinders. And the purpose of these LPG cylinders is to ensure that the common man can buy the cylinder at a subsidized cost. So again, this is to ensure that penetration is enabled for the common man who cannot afford the true cost of that cylinder. This is in essence to ensure that we're using the clean fuels. We're using clean fuels. We are also not cutting our trees, which we use. We're also not using too much kerosene. So it's an initiative that will be ongoing to ensure that Kenyans have this affordable product of LPG.
And the bottlenecks restraining investors in the issue of exchange?
We have the cylinder exchange pool, which means that anyone who has a gas cylinder can go to company XY and exchange it with another company ABC, and any brand you can exchange. We have had a few challenges in that when you do that pool exchange, it means that some people, the companies are owing one another money in the process. Again, these debts have accumulated into thousands, into tens of millions, which again is not good for the industry. So we are working on a framework that is able to enable the exchange of cylinders without impacting on the businesses. So this will be an improvement of the current system, but I also want to emphasize that the universal valve will be staying to ensure that once you buy a cylinder, you are able to fit it with your burner without any problems.
Lastly, you talked about that you won't renew contracts with thermal generators.
We have about 3 thermal generators whose power purchase contracts are expiring in the next few years. What we are saying is that because these generators are expensive and we want Kenyans to enjoy cheap power, so once the contracts lapse, we are not going to extend them. And the main purpose of not extending is because we don't want expensive generation. Additionally, we are also planning as a country to have cheap generation from geothermal, there are plants from solar and wind. So all these are geared towards ensuring that the cost of power comes down.
Where are they situated, the thermal generators?
We have thermal generators in Nairobi, we have thermal generators in Mombasa. So again, once their contracts lapse, we will not be able to renew them.
When are they lapsing?
We have about 3 that will be expiring in the next 3 or so years. So these will not be able to renew them once they expire.